Morning, everyone. It's Melissa. Good to see you today. I want to make sure that we are live because last week on Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I went live in the wrong group. So that's fun. I want to make sure. Okay, so I am live. I have verified. Okay. I am Melissa. If we've never met before, I'm the CEO, the founder, and owner of Build a Better Bakery. And our mission, our whole team's mission, is to create an environment where baking business can be simple for you. So it might not be easy. It might not be like the easiest thing you've ever done with your life, but we can simplify it, help you get there so that it's more of kind of a baby step situation for you, where you feel good moving through the process rather than being completely overwhelmed every day, which is pretty common for people who are getting started, people who are trying to transition or grow. So we see it all the time. I work with bakers all over the world, and our team is specifically focused on helping people envision what they want. So before you even start, if you want to work on business planning and visioning, we definitely do that. We help you start it. So what's the process of getting going? Are you doing home baking? Are you doing commercial baking? Are you doing a food truck? What's going on with that? And then of course, managing your business at really any stage. You might need help hiring, you might need help growing your menu, or doing more in-person events, or getting people, into your shop, whatever it is. We help with all of that so that you can experience fruitful and joyful futures in the baking industry, because we always need more bakers. And we're here so you don't have to do this baking business thing alone. That's why we do what we do. So go ahead and throw up a hashtag replay if you view this on the replay. And I'm already seeing Judy and Kelsey here and Tamika. So you can go ahead and throw up your hashtag live if you ever see me live, so that I know that you are in the audience. Today's topic is all about organizing your workspace. So last week, if you were here, it's in the group if you want to watch it. Last week, we covered decluttering your space, because that's something you have to do before you really start thinking about organizing, because what you don't want to do is organize the stuff that's not important to your business. So you got to declutter first, and then think about, how am I going to make this space work? Baking business comes with a lot of stuff. It's just part of it. All the tools and the packaging and the sprinkles and the spatulas and the cookie cutters and the pans and everything that we have to do what we do. We collect it and we need to figure out how to store it. So just before we get into this, if you are wanting to stay in the know about these lives, you can check the events here in the group. I usually post what we're going to talk about a couple days before our Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time set time and day. So I'm always here on Thursdays at 9 Pacific Standard Time if I'm available to be here. So that's kind of just when it happens. And then I usually post the topics a couple days before. You can also send me a friend request on the Facebook platform. I have a public account, so you can just send me the request. I'll accept it. And then when I make the event itself, you don't have to search it out. It should get sent to your Facebook profile, so you can just click on it and say if you want to go or not. You can also hang out on our free email list. It's kind of like an update email list where I send out videos and resources and what's going on with us, just so you can stay up to date. If you want to be on that email list, you'll see replays of these, not the invites like you would see on the platform. So that's another way to stay connected. All right, let's hop in. If anyone has just a random organization question, put it in the comments today. I do have to leave right at 9:30 and no later, because I have somewhere to be, but I would be happy to answer an organization question if you have one. I apologize about these sounds. I don't know how to mute it. Okay, maybe I'll do that. Okay. Okay. Organization can be one of those situations where you don't really know what to do. It's like you're looking at your space and you're like, ooh, I don't like this. This makes me feel bad. I'm looking at my I'm looking at my own workroom right now. It is somewhat organized, but there's still things going on that I'm like, I don't love that. And then let's say you think, okay, I'm gonna work on this organization by spending a bunch of money on these tools, these systems, these whatevers that are supposed to help me be organized. And some might do the job. You might land on something great right away and that just works. Or others might leave you feeling like you've just wasted money and it's not working. It doesn't fit in your space. Your products or whatever you're making or your tools don't even fit in it. Whatever it is, right? That can be a problem. So today, what I decided to do with today is instead of giving you a bunch of product recommendations, because everyone's space is different measurements, etc., I would suggest if you need specific help to get an actual organizer to get eyeballs on your space and do that for you. But instead of giving you product recommendations, I want to give you 3 strategies that you can look at your space and apply. And then you can choose the products that you might need to complete those strategies in your space and make it work for you. If you need suggestions, I can send you the links for the things that I have, which I'll mention later. It might not work for you. It might not be what you want because I have kind of the military lifestyle. So those kinds of things, the things that I have might not be what you want, but I will share those with you if you just need a place to start because I know how it is. Okay, now the golden rule here is to remember that your workspace counters, the flat surfaces in your work area are sacred. These are the places that nothing should be on them. If you can have a completely clear workbench or workstation, the flat area every day, that would be the goal. I understand that that's unrealistic, but that would be the goal if you can accomplish that. You especially want things that should go somewhere else to be in their homes, wherever those are. And just in general, flat surfaces are where we see a lot of clutter accumulated. So because of that, and because bakers need the flat surfaces for pretty much everything we do, we just need workspace. All of the suggestions that I'm going to go over today are specifically geared to helping you keep your surfaces clear. Those are the 3 that I picked because I think that's a good place to start if we just need to make sure those surfaces are clear. Hey, Lucy. Okay. All right. Number 1, vertical storage systems. Okay, so try to avoid anything that's like horizontally storage unless it's going under something. It can be kind of hidden. We're looking for just vertical storage systems. So something that's strong, durable, think like shelving unit or built-in wall shelving. You might consider adding something like a speed rack to your space if you need some storage that maybe needs to move around your area for pans or baked product that just needs to be stored and moved from, decorating to packaging area, etc. Now, personally, due to our lifestyle of moving all the time, there are certain things that I do to make my life easier every time I have to move. And for this specific vertical storage situation, I've chosen to go with a collapsible metal shelving unit. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 of them. There might be more. And I can share the link with you if you think that's something that might be interesting to have in your space. The reason I went with these units is because you can choose with or without wheels, so they can move or not. It's lightweight. It can be put together with no screws or fasteners, so it's all just like mallets. That means I don't lose pieces when I take them apart, etc. Now there are little plastic pieces that I do lose, but it's a lot easier to see on the ground and stuff than little screws. So I appreciate that I can just put it together with one little mallet. They're easy to disassemble and reassemble into different heights, which is harder to do when you have like wooden shelving that you have to unscrew and all of that. It's easy to sanitize because it is metal. And I understand you might want something more permanent. So again, that's not why the whole point of this is to give you suggestions on products. If you want it, I will send it, but it's really just the idea of the vertical shelving unit, vertical storage, to make your life a lot easier. And another little side tip here is if you're going to stack boxes vertically, and this is something that Claire also mentions in the elite trainings in there about organization, is that a lot of times if your boxes are 2 or 3 deeper than 2 or 3 stacked, it's going to be hard to get into the others. So if you're thinking, okay, I want to do vertical storage and you've got your boxes, try to have some kind of divider, between 2 or 3 of them so that there's not, first of all, not like a ton of weight on the one on the bottom, but it's also easier for you to pull them out and get into the boxes. Okay. Number 2, first is vertical storage, like number 1 best option. Number 2 is hanging systems versus tabletop systems and or cabinet systems. Cabinet systems are still good, okay, super good, but when we think about where can we put things that, can be hung, then hang them, because there's usually not a lot going on the walls. At least for me, I always can kind of find somewhere to hang something. So I would definitely suggest kind of thinking about that depending on what you're working with. A good example that I have done recently is that I have decided to hang my paperwork and my office supplies. And when you think about that, sometimes we have like tabletop file folders that take up easily like 2 by 2 feet of space, and you're trying to keep all your paperwork in there. So what you can do is get hanging file folder type. They're kind of like little flat deals that come out of the wall. You see them in offices a lot. You can get those to put on the wall. And so I invested in some bins and some of those file folders for my downstairs work area. They're white, so they kind of blend into the wall. They look nice. They hold my paperwork and my office supplies. And so that gets them up and off my work table that's downstairs. And it doesn't take up a ton of room because it's on the wall. It doesn't stick out very far. And I can keep all those kind of important little things at arm's reach. So it just made it a lot easier for me to use my space. I have also, as another example, worked in bakeries, a number of different bakeries that use kind of a pegboard style system where they have a wall with a pegboard on it, the little clips that go into there. And then they'll have like scissors and tape and other tools that are up on the board. Sometimes they even go as far to outline the thing so that okay, there's a shape of a scissor, like that's where I'm going to put it. But what it does is it helps the whole bakery kind of know where those tools are supposed to go. And then everyone goes to that station to grab it. One suggestion I would give you is if you do that, try to have it not interfere with the workspace of somebody. So don't put it behind the table where the baker works. Don't put it behind the decorator's table, which is what was my situation, because then everyone's going to be going back there trying to get stuff and you're trying to work in that space. So if you're going to do it, try to keep it kind of like in an open source area so people can just run over and grab stuff rather than bothering whoever is working right there. Just an idea. Okay. I like the systems that I bought. They're working just fine. There are some things that I would maybe change about them, but I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. So I'm happy to share the links for those little hanging baskets and bins with you if you want to see them. They're the white, they're like kind of a mesh vibe to them. So I can send that if you want to see what I'm talking about. Hi, Tiana. Okay, and then number 3 is workflow over aesthetics. Now, do we want our workspace to look good? Of course, I mean, we want to be in spaces that make us feel good, but I want you to kind of forget about where does it look good and more of how is the workflow being affected by the placement of this organization tool or area. This means to keep an eye on how you move in your space or how your employees move in the space. And is the organization adding to this, or is it making it harder for people to have a smooth workflow in your area? If you put something, let's say you put a rack here just because, oh, it looks good, right? It looks good right there. But is it making it harder to kind of like do what you need to do? Is it making it so that someone has to walk 20 feet to get a thing when you could just move it to the other side of the room and it would work better over there? So in your mind, think about how can I minimize stretching with your body, walking, reaching, turning, like how can I minimize all this movement, right? And then, because the whole point of it, right, is to use your organization to save your physical movement and your mental energy. We're trying to kind of streamline, if you will, what's going on in your space. So some examples is that this might look like maybe a trash can on wheels, right? Or maybe a storage system on wheels that you can move around and then you can put away when it's the end of the day. When it's work time, it comes out and it moves with you around your space. This might look like storage units. Maybe you have a big sink area where you've got your three bin sink and your baker, you end up with like all these dishes that need to be dried and put away. Well, what if you had a storage system right next to the sink instead of over in the storage closet for those pans so that it's a lot easier to put things away and then people can grab it. It happens to be by the sink now, but it's a smaller step of movement or workflow that someone would have to endure as they're trying to do that part of the job. Or maybe you have, you're going to add some of those hanging storage areas. Maybe you can look at the different sections of your workspace, and maybe you can have a small hanging storage area in front of all of them. So what if you did one for packaging, and then you did one for your office, and then you did one for your mixing table, and you're hanging whatever's relevant to that space right there. So it's like you're getting everything up off the counter, or maybe even out of drawers that are hard to get into, and you're putting it up in the visual space. And so you know where everything goes. If something's missing, you can see it, and everyone knows where the tools are. So again, just thinking about how you move in your space, any extra steps that you're taking, how can you minimize those using organization, right? So number one, vertical storage. Number two, hanging systems over countertop systems. And number three is workflow over aesthetics. So kind of bigger strategies, but I want to get your mind kind of working on how that could work for you. Now, I will say that the trick to making all of your organization work is putting things away where they belong after you use them. It is not my strongest suit as a creative person, but I do strive to make that more of a habit for myself. I'm pretty good with it in the kitchen, but when it comes to like my work table, it can be a little wild over there. It is not something that I can help you with today, but something to keep in mind. And I will say the one thought that I've learned over the years that kind of helps me deal with that, I know a lot of creative people have that struggle, is to know that the task really isn't done. You're not actually done doing XYZ until all the tools get put away and the table's clear again. So just knowing if I'm leaving those things out, I'm not actually done. So that might help you like kick in to actually take a few minutes to put things away. So hoping those 3 tips are helpful. I'm not seeing any questions coming in about organization. So if you have a question, just a general question, feel free to post it on this video. We can chat about it here. Claire, our organization coach, I've talked about her a couple of times in this group. She drops like a ton more valuable tips and information on all things organization. She's done this for over 20 years. It's what she specializes in. She's has in the past taken on organization clients. I believe that she's taking a break with that now. So like I said, if you need like really, really serious help, you might get with an actual organizer to come look at your space and to help you with that. So I don't know that she's doing that anymore at the moment, but she has created a bunch of content set up in our Vault library for you. So she has decluttering video, a cleaning video, small space organization, paperwork organization, routines, workflows, mindset, and all those things that it's like, if you just knew like the 3 tips from her on each section, it would just be a lot easier to deal with organizing all of your business, because she's just got it laid out in such a organization coach way. It's just easier to understand when she, makes the sessions and views a session, and then you can ask her questions in there if you need to. So she's got a lot about organization inside of there, including photography, which is her other specialty. So she teaches photography and organization, and it's all in the Elite Program Vault library. So it's all ready right now to be viewed. If you want to try it out and allow organization to become a bigger part of your life, let me know. We have multiple tiers of membership. Number of them are different depending on your needs. So you can read about it on the website. You can ask me through direct message. I can just let you know what each of them are, and you can let me know if one of them seems better for you. It might just be what you need to get to the next level of your business, because organization can be mentally and physically and emotionally exhausting. Disorganization can be. So that might be what you need, or even just to gain back some of the sanity that's been lost to the clutter, because I think we can all understand that. And that just happens sometimes. So we're here to help if you need it. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions, and that is the end of my session for today. For me, I am off to an out-of-town appointment, which is going to take most of my day, and I'm not excited about that. And I will be prepping to teach a creative class tonight. And I'm excited. I am excited for that because I love to teach creative classes. So I'm gonna do that. I will see you in the group. Post away if you have questions, thoughts, things you want to share, go ahead and post. You can DM me with any questions that you might have. My inbox is open. I hope you have a lovely Thursday, and I will be seeing you all next week. Okay, bye.